Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, 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 way down in the back.
TA. We are live. Welcome to the Tigers Avenue Show. It is a great day this Tuesday evening to be an LSU Tiger fan. Welcome into the show. Yes, Zach, we were wrong, and it feels so good to be wrong. It feels
amazing,
so good to be wrong.
Yes,
I have never said that in my life, I don't think. But it is so great to be wrong. Look, you went 1-0. It has taken 5 years for LSU to go 1-0. Zach, it's crazy because I remember a time when we almost never went 0-1. Like, I think we had a really long active streak of starting seasons off with a win. And I think the very first time I saw us lose an opener was that Wisconsin game in Lambeau with Les Miles. Up until that point, Les Miles had been fantastic in openers. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you just were, as an LSU fan, you were never used to losing game one. But, man, these last 5 years, you feel like you grew accustomed to losing game one.
Yeah.
And certainly, I think that factored into our selection. I'm not trying to give us any kind of slack or anything. I'm not trying to cut us any slack for our prediction. But I'm just saying, there's that anxiety about game one because it feels like you haven't gotten over that hump. And of course, even for Brian Kelly had yet to win a season opener his entire tenure at LSU. But I think it needs to be said, obviously, he was facing tough opponents. It's not like you were getting to face Austin Peay or Georgia State or anybody like that, Georgia Southern or Phoenix Online, Hogwarts University, right? You weren't playing nobodies. You played Florida State back-to-back years with Jordan Travis in his veteran years. In Jordan Travis's best years, you played Florida State in neutral sites. And it was Brian Kelly's first and second year. Last year, I think, is really the only one you go, you should not have lost that game. Looking back, it's Brian Kelly's first game at LSU, and he brings LSU within a PAT of, sending the game against Florida State to overtime.
And that was also a year where Mike Norvell was kind of on the hot seat, so he had
Mike Norvell was on the hot seat and kind of put together a great roster. And the next year, your defense transfers. You were still trying to catch up. Right, you had the offense, obviously, with Jaden. That was his amazing year, and Malik and BTJ. But your defensive transfers they weren't there, and you kind of got torched by Jordan Travis and that Florida State offense. But last year it was kind of like, okay, you definitely should have beat USC, and that played out that way. You were certainly better than USC last year, and failed to win that first game to a team that was not good at all as the season went on, and the quarterback ended up transferring out of USC and is now at Louisville. So this year it was like, okay, it feels like this is the toughest challenge of all of them.
Yeah.
And you've yet to break through game one. So it feels so, so good. Zach, a top 5 matchup. Well, not matchup, a top 5 team you're playing in their stadium, a veteran team, Cade Klubnik. Zach, in his 5th year, 3rd year starting. 5th year, 3rd year starting. You had Brian Wesco, TJ Moore, and Antonio Williams, which Antonio Williams did get hurt in the game. You had Peter Woods and TJ Parker, everybody was talking about. So you had a very veteran team. And AJ Terrell's little brother, I can't remember his first name for the life of me, but the Terrell Jr., we'll just call him that.
Avion.
Yeah, there you go. And so you had a very, very veteran team. You're looking at game one and you're going into their stadium. Man, what a huge victory, Zach. What a massive victory to get over the 1-0 yips that you've had for so many years, going back to that Mississippi State game that was so horrific with KJ Costello breaking the SEC single game passing record and then being benched a couple weeks later. Wow, what a win, Zach.
Yeah.
What a massive win. I don't think that can be understated. This is huge for so many different reasons, Zach, for your playoff hopes, for your expectations, for just getting over that 1-0 hump, and for fan morale, for Brian Kelly's job. Like, so many things for this game. Obviously, if you lost this game, your season certainly is far from over with a 12-team playoff. But, man, getting off to the right step, Zach, is massive for you in this game, and has certainly started you off on the right foot. It just feels so good to come on here and say we were wrong and that LSU is 1-0. And boy, Zach, there is just so much to get into when we dive into this recap. So much to get into. Yeah. I'm so freaking pumped for this team. So we'll give you a recap on the Clemson game. Obviously, we'll look at some areas where we think, where you can improve, because certainly it's a lot more fun to learn in a win, Zach. It's fun to learn lessons in a win, and there's certainly lessons to learn from this game. It's just a lot better with the W. And I want to talk about that because I think it's significant that there's things that you need to improve on, and you still won this game. We'll get to that. But we'll talk about those areas to improve on. And then obviously we'll give you a little La Tech preview, and we'll probably give you a little look around college football as well, because boy, oh boy, Zach, was it a big stinking weekend in college football. This was
a lot was going on.
I mean, holy cow. This was one of the best week ones in a long time. And, man, a lot happened. a lot happened. And we'll get to all that. So, Zach, LSU versus Clemson, it was the matchup of the weekend. And everybody was saying, Texas, Ohio State could be the matchup of the weekend. There was a lot of people, though, saying the LSU-Clemson game would probably be the marquee matchup. And that bared out to be true. And I think the reality is you had 2 veteran quarterbacks at LSU and Clemson. And so the game was far more competitive and far more what's the word I'm looking for? It was far more difficult to win this game because of the quality of quarterback on both sides and quality of defense. You look at the Texas and Ohio State game, it's really those guys' first time. It's not Arch's first time starting, but it's his first time being the guy, right? And it was Julian Sayen's literal first time starting. And so there wasn't that elite veteran quarterback play in the midst of that. So, Zach, this game was the game of the weekend. It was a huge matchup. It was competitive. It was a raucous environment there in Clemson, South Carolina. I will tip my cap. It was a great environment, okay? Not the real Death Valley, not what a Death Valley in Baton Rouge could ever be like, but it was a great environment, Zach. I'm not going to shy away from that. It was excellent, which you expected it to be. And, man, LSU goes in there and gets it done, and there's just so much to cover, Zach. So I'll let you kind of start the recap, highlights. Maybe Zach, we should go through a couple things that just stood out to us, and then we kind of break the game down. So, First thoughts. What's some things that stood out to you, Zach, from this game?
Well, I think you had some answers to a lot of the questions that you were asking heading into this game, right? We asked the question, okay, in fall camp, is this defense really that good, right? Is this defense really that good? Or is the offensive line really just that bad? And you got an answer to both of those questions. The answer to the first is this defense is really that good. Front seven, secondary, I mean, as a complete unit, as a whole, the defense shined, and they're what carried you. And I'll make a note here, Reagan. I'll make a note here, Reagan, because you know what? We had a really good night. We had all of our family was together.
Yes.
We all watched it and celebrated birthdays, and our whole family was there.
Yep.
All the grandkids, the kids, and mom and dad, everybody, siblings, everybody was there. They all came to my house, and we watched the game together. So it was a really, really awesome time.
It was.
To be able to celebrate that victory with the entire family. We don't get to do that a whole lot, not as much as we used to. I mean, you have to go back, I don't know how long, once we had everybody there. But anyways, regardless, that was a cool moment. And heading into the game, yes, Reagan, we had picked Clemson to win. But as we said, that's because of all the questions that were being asked. Is this offensive line good enough? Is this defensive line really what it seems like it is and what we've heard from fall camp? And again, the defensive side, you got a resounding yes. This defense, I think at season's end, you could argue that this defense could potentially be a top 5 defense in the country, if not top 10. Or I should say top 10, if not top 5 in the country. Because that's how good they were. And here's one of the things I wanted to point out, Reagan, what I was trying to get at, because you had discussed it during the game, and I understand your frustration with what happened in the latter half of the game. But I think what we realized and what we learned throughout that game was the answer to why that LSU offense went so conservative there in the last drive of the fourth quarter, right? And you know, you and I,
the last two drives,
they were extremely conservative, and let's just be honest, we voiced some of that frustration.
I'll talk about that when we start recapping.
Specifically you, Reagan, voiced some of that frustration. And here's what I want to say. I think hindsight's 2020. You go back and you think about the entirety of that game. I think Brian Kelly trusted his defense to make the stops, and that's why they went conservative.
Yeah.
And I think what you had already had 2 turnovers, right? You already had the 2 fumbles. You didn't want to have an interception or another fumble that happened that could have given Clemson the opportunity for momentum to swing and to give them an opportunity to strike and change the game. So I think they realized very quickly throughout the course of that game that this defense was absolutely dominating. And let's put this game in the hands of our defense. Let's not do anything to hurt where we're at right now with the 7-point, with a touchdown lead. Let's put this in the hands of our defense, which is crazy to say, Reagan. I mean, considering the last few years, that's crazy to say, but that's what they did. That's what they did. They said we're gonna play conservative football, run the football, pass, chew the clock up, and they did, Reagan. I mean, they owned the time of possession, and they had a really successful game plan, right? But I want to make note, Reagan, because there's several things here. I think, yes, there is some concerns with this offense a little bit, but you had a lot of those questions answered. One of the questions was the offensive line. I thought the offensive line did really good.
Solid.
The rushing attack did what it needed to do. You ran for over 100 yards. if you take away the sack adjusted and you take away the kneel downs at the end of the game, you rush for over 120 yards, Reagan.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people were talking about. If they want to win this game, then they bet 100 to 125, rushing yards. And they were right there. Caden Durham was phenomenal. Very first play of the game from the scrimmage, breaks a tackle in the backfield and busts it for 25 yards. So there is areas where you do need to grow, and we'll get to that here in the second segment. But you had answers in this game that you were given. And for a lot of people, right, I know there's some fans that, you got the fans that they're super optimistic. Your team's always going to win. They're going to win the national championship everywhere. And then you got the negative Nancys who, we're going to be horrible. And, I just pray we make a bowl game. Like, you've got both sides of the spectrum, right? So, and for me and Reagan, we're just trying to kind of balance that out and try to figure out what's most likely to happen. What's more of a reality, right? And the reality heading into this game was there was a lot of questions that had to be answered. And I think that's why me and you both picked Clemson, because we got to see it. We got to see it first. There's a lot of things that have to come together. The offensive line has to come together. How good is, all these transfers going to be having to come together on a completely new team? I mean, that's a lot that has to be asked. Yeah. And there was just so much pressure that was built up on this game, specifically for LSU to go and win. And that's a lot of pressure to go on the road against a top 5 team and ask them to do that. And so I don't think we were necessarily wrong for picking Clemson, but what we quickly learned, and, I'll say this, the total, the outcome of this game did not truly show. Like, if you just go look at the box score, it didn't really truly show what this game actually looked like. Because let's be honest, Reagan, LSU dominated this game. I know they only won by a touchdown, but let's just be honest, LSU dominated this game. Outside of a few mistakes that LSU made, right? A couple mistakes that they can clean up, and some really bad calls by the rest. This game should have been honestly like
27-10.
27-10. Hey, if you want to go on like a huge what if, it really could have been 27-0 if you clean up the mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So let's go through some of those real quick, Reagan. I know this is the kind of areas. I'll tell you what. Let's put a pause on that. We'll come back to that. Let's just go ahead and look at the breakdown, right? So LSU gets the ball to start, and a lot of people have been a little bit concerned about the offense because you only put up 17 points, right? And it seemed like there was times where I'm not. The very first drive, you got something going, right? Caden Durham busted for 25 yards, right? You picked up another first down that drive. Now, the play calling was a little bit questionable there on that 3rd and 11. And I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to set up for a potential manageable 4th down, because they were kind of in that gray area where it's like it's a little bit too long to kick a field goal, but you're kind of there where you're like, well, maybe if we go for it, we can keep the drive going. So I think what they were trying to do there is set up a draw play to catch the defense off guard to get a manageable 4th down, or you just completely catch the defense off guard and you're able to bust a big run for a 1st down, right? So I understand what they were doing there, but when you have these receivers and you have Garrett Nussmeier, I'm just like, just throw it past the sticks, man. Just throw it past the sticks. Somebody's going to be open.
Find Aaron Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, holy cow, Aaron Anderson in the second half. So you got a little bit of a drive there going, and then from the very jump, first drive Clemson has, we saw the difference in this defense, right?
Absolutely.
They had a total of negative 10 yards on that drive. PJ Woodland had the huge sack, which, by the way, I told y'all. I know I'm patting myself on the back. Go back a few episodes when we were previewing the DB room, and I told y'all I thought that PJ Woodland would end up being the starter opposite of Mansour Delane. And I will say I said it would potentially happen a little bit later on in the season. It happened game one. PJ Woodland continued all throughout fall camp to show that he was the second best corner in the room. And it showed against Clemson.
Yeah. And Zach, you haven't gotten to listen Zach hasn't gotten to listen to PK's press conference yet.
I haven't.
But-
I got to go back and listen to it tonight. I've been working soccer practice with the girls.
Yeah. So to your point, Brian Kelly was point blank asked about it. He was asked about Ashton Stamps because somebody asked about Destin Hill to get an update, and then they followed up with Ashton Stamps, wondering if there was an injury there or something. There is no injury. There was no injury, and Brian Kelly's answer was, "We played the best guys we thought to win the game.
Yep.
We played the guys that we thought were going to best give us the chance to win the game." So, what does that tell you?
That tells you that PJ Woodland has beat out
PJ
Ashton.
Woodland beat out Ashton Stamps.
That's correct. And
you're
I
absolutely right, Zach.
I'd been saying that, so I just want to pat myself on the back there. But anyways, right from the jump, you saw the impact that PJ Woodland was going to make on this game.
Dude,
he was phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Right? I got to hand him his flowers.
And the setup was awesome. I mean,
yeah.
Pyburn takes the high route on the tackle to clear the lane, the delayed blitz from PJ Woodland. It was fantastic. It was just a perfectly designed blitz call, and I mean, it was a selfless play from Pyburn to literally give himself up to open up the lane.
Yes,
PJ comes in, makes the play.
Yep.
It was awesome. It was a fantastic tone setter from the defense.
Now here, after that drive, this is where you get into the area where you got some things to work on, right? LSU gets a little bit of a drive going, but as soon as they get that drive going, Bauer Sharp fumbles, and the defense steps up and forces Clemson to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Reagan, you clean that up, take away the field goal. You don't fumble, you don't turn it over, you take away the field goal there. Both teams will trade punts at the end of the first quarter. Then LSU gets a drive going. They kind of stalled out there a little bit around the Clemson 35-yard line. And Damian Ramos, everybody's been saying, that Damian Ramos has been very impressive in fall camp, and he nailed his career high 52-yard field goal to tie the game up there at the start of the second.
I thought it was
quarter.
53. It was 52.
52, 53, one of those two. ESPN, I think the broadcast had it as 53. ESPN Game Box has it as 52.
Still, either way. I mean,
either way, career long, which was really super impressive.
BK press conference again. The press conference was an awesome press conference. You need to go listen to the press conference.
I gotta go listen.
Jack Marucci and all the sports science that he did, he always does. Jack Marucci says the field goal would have been good from 58, according to his analytics. So,
there you go.
He's got the leg. Much bigger leg. I mean, big improvement from Ramos. He didn't have that last year.
No, he didn't. So yeah, LSU gets there on the board, ties things up. Now, here's where some of the officiating came into play.
Sure.
Clemson gets a drive going a little bit. They get to 4th and 2 at LSU's 25-yard line. And there is a flag thrown for a pick play. Now, I will agree.
Yeah.
When you watch the replay, he's behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
But in the words of Foster Moreau on Twitter, you can't tell me that wasn't a blindside block.
It was.
Because he didn't see him anywhere. Block in the back, blindside block, whatever you want to call it, 1,100%. And earlier on that drive, whenever Cade Klubnik had a 7-yard run to pick up a first down, 2 plays earlier, a few plays earlier, Whit Weeks was getting held like nobody's business.
Blatant hold.
Hold.
Hooked. Had him hooked.
Had him
all day long.
There was like 2 guys that got hooked. So you had really 2 missed calls on that drive that ultimately led to a Clemson touchdown.
Sure.
Ultimately. So officiating, if they do their job correctly, you can wipe that one off the board. You can wipe that touchdown off the board.
And I also want to
and that's for 10 points.
I want to add, Zach, all of the adversity in that with the penalties that we disagreed that were not called. They weren't penalties. They were, things that were the no calls. The defense goes down. Harold Perkins gets a sack to push them back at the goal line.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Harold Perkins back in form. He looks awesome.
Yep.
They get the little sit down in the zone, like hitch route that on the 3rd and goal to get them to like the 2-3 yard line, whatever it was. And man, it really, really looked like they had stopped him on 4th and goal.
It did.
Again,
credit Adam Randall, man. He kept driving his feet.
Yes, they scored, but the effort, Zach, the intensity and the effort that was not there for several years was evident with this defense. That would have never happened in the last 2-3 years with our defenses. It would not have been close. He would have walked in the end zone. He met a wall, and credit to him, he kept chopping his feet and he fell forward. That's what you're supposed to do as a runner. But hey, Whit Weeks, Wes Weeks, Mansour Delane met him.
Jordan Gilbert was there.
Made it a tough hole. Yeah, Jordan Gilbert, Wes Weeks, I think were the main guy. Mansour came to try and help. They met him and gave every effort to stop him, and darn near stopped him at the goal line, which would have been huge. But credit to him.
For a minute, I thought they had.
It looked like they had. It looked like they stonewalled him. But look, he got in, and like you said, that was their 10 points.
Yep. LSU to end the half there would put together a drive, and this was huge for LSU because at this point there's a little over 4.5 minutes on the clock, and obviously LSU had received the ball to start the first half, so you got to do something. You got to put together a drive, try to go score, try to bleed some clock to keep the ball out of Clemson's hands, and LSU did just that. Unfortunately, though, the outcome of this drive was extremely disappointing. On 2nd and 10, here's where we saw some difference here. On 2nd and 10, Reagan, from LSU's 25-yard line, they call a read play, and Garrett Nussmeier tucks it and runs for 11 yards. Huge improvement there by Garrett Nussmeier. We didn't see any interceptions, and we saw him move the pocket and run the ball when he needed to, right? Wasn't anything flashy. You know, he's not Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow out there running the football, but just being able to maneuver the pocket, pick up yards when you can, was huge. That was huge there. And he made the defense have to respect him. I mean, every time from that moment, the defense had to respect him running the football. And that played a huge vital role in the rest of this game. Garrett Nussmeier also, I mean, this was just like Heisman moments here, right? Like early on Heisman moments here. Garrett tucks and runs, gets you a first down after 2nd and 10. On 3rd and 9, he is being pressured, rolls to his right, and throws back to Barry Brown for a 14-yard pickup to keep the drive going. Okay? And then he throws a 10-yard check down to Caden Durham for another first down. Just super impressive. I mean, this is it, Reagan. This is, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 straight completions, okay? 4 straight completions. He had the 3rd and 9 to Barron Brown. Then he goes first down, 10-yard pass to Caden Durham. Then he goes 4-yard pass to Bauer Sharp. And then he goes 16-yard pass to Xavion Thomas. And just like that, they're in the red zone, right?
Yep.
Caden Durham runs for a yard. Garrett Nussmeier is able to hit Barry Brown for a 7-yard completion. And then he had the tight coverage, double coverage to Aaron Anderson. He threads it in there, and unfortunately, it was just great defense. Aaron Anderson couldn't hold on to it, batted down, and so it's 4th and 2. And this is where you got to kick the field goal. You have to kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Every single one of us on the couch, and I understand we're being couch coaches, but everyone was saying, kick the field goal, kick the field goal, kick the field goal. And I understand Garrett Nussmeier wanted to go for it, right? He's a competitor, wants to go get a touchdown, right? Things had not been going great for them at that point. They had only had 3 points on the board. He wants to go try and get a touchdown before the half to tie things up. And so he's encouraging Brian Kelly to go for it. I would probably do the same thing as well. Yeah, like if I was out there, I'd probably want to do the same thing.
As a competitor, you want to do that.
Yes, but as the head coach, you got to
Yeah.
understand what's best for your team. If you've realized that the only points that Clemson has put on the board is because of a fumble deep in their territory, and then also 2 missed officiating calls that led to a touchdown, that's the only points, and the defense has been playing so solid. Go ahead, take the points.
Yeah.
Go ahead, take the points. As I had said throughout the game, as we were discussing it, like they're moving the football. Eventually, they're going to break through.
Yep.
And we saw that happen there in the second half. Reagan, why don't you go ahead? I know I've talked a lot. I've recapped a lot of the first half. Why don't you recap the second half for us?
Yeah, obviously you. So the turnover there happens at the end, and honestly, Zach, I mean, either way, it didn't matter much if he fumbled or not because it was 4th down. He didn't get it either way. But it was just demoralizing that you didn't get any points there and you fumbled the ball. So it was a bit of a,
And I'll say I disagreed a little bit with Joe Sloan on that play call there. You've got Xavier Thomas, you've got Barian Brown, you've got Jawan Johnson, which all 3 of those guys, we saw a lot of success in the short pass game.
Yeah.
And then on that decision, you decide to go to your deep threat on a screen route. I just didn't really understand that, right? Like if you're gonna do that play, go to the guys that's been working with, right? Don't go to your guy that's your deep threat, right? I understand Chris Hilton's got the speed, like I understand that, but that's not his game. That's not Chris Hilton's game. Chris Hilton's game is stretching the field, right? So I wasn't really a huge fan of that play call. And unfortunately, it happened the way that it happened. But regardless, it didn't matter because LSU had a phenomenal second half.
Yeah, they did. And it opens up, obviously, with Clemson. They've got the ball. And, it's a huge point in the game because they're already up. And they can make it a 2-possession game early in the second half. And they started off with a really solid drive, Zach. I mean, they come out, I think they had like a little brief run. There was an incompletion, and then it was 2 big passes. It was boom, boom to their tight end.
It was their best drive of the night, of the entire game. It was
It was their best. I think it was their most complete drive.
Yeah, because the touchdown, they got aided.
Right. There was for sure. So the first pass was welcome AJ Halsey to the game. Okay. Tip of the cap to their tight end. He held on the ball, but AJ Halsey laid the wood on the tight end.
Sure did.
At the high point the ball, AJ Halsey makes his presence felt immediately. By the way, really quick before I go any further, shout out to Jordan Gilbert.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Fantastic first half, right? In the absence of AJ Halsey, I thought Jordan Gilbert played a great first half. But man,
think about that 3rd and 11 where he stopped Cade Klubnik.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
He was the last man between him and the first down, and
exactly. So, just proud for him. He looks much improved from last year, and now that he's healthy. And but AJ Halsey, you can just see the present difference with Halsey in, and I mean his presence was felt immediately with that play. I mean, unfortunately, the guy held on the ball. A lot of guys aren't holding on the ball there. That was a big hit, but completes the pass. Then you have another big pass to Brian Wesco. They're in your territory now, and here's where the defense stands tall. It's a short run by Cade Klubnik, incompletion, which you love, to their guy TJ Moore, back-to-back incompletions. Line it for a field goal, 48-yard field goal, missed. Huge moment for LSU.
Yep,
huge moment for LSU in this game. It was a big momentum swing. The importance of not. I mean, if they kick the field goal there, it's not technically still. It's not technically 2 possessions. Yeah, well, yes, it would be because you only had 3 at that point.
Yeah.
So it was crucial that you didn't have a 2 possession thing. Well, anyways, LSU gets the ball back. They missed the field goal, right? And then this is LSU's first scoring drive. So I'm trying to we start obviously where they missed the field goal at. I'm missing my place here in my notes now. Of course, I just totally lost my spot in my notes. I'd written stuff down for this, and now I'm lost it, of course.
They were at the
Where we
LSU
at,
30.
Zach?
They were at the LSU 30.
Okay. Where did my notes just totally disappeared? Okay, great. Fantastic. Gotta love it. Okay. Well, anyways, that's your scoring drive with Caden Durham, right? And this was also the one important play on this drive that I wanted to point out was the throw to Kyle Parker. It was another throw, Zach, where you were just like, holy cow, Garrett Nussmeier.
Yep.
Pressure came. He rolls to the right. He's scanning the field, right? He's creating time for a receiver to get open. You see Kyle Parker shoot across on the run. He's not set, feet not set, but he's on the run, rolling to his right, throws an accurate ball, sharp
across his body
to Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker secures it, takes a big shot, but holds onto the ball. By the way, Kyle Parker came into this game on the very first play. They think highly of Kyle Parker, clearly, because man, he played a lot, Zach. He played a lot, and
it was kind of surprised. It kind of surprised us, honestly.
Yeah, he did, and that was, that was a huge moment for him. And then obviously that created first and goal. I think you got stopped on. They tried a little dump off or something on the first and goal. I can't remember exactly how, but it didn't quite work out. Second and goal, they handed off to Caden Durham. Caden Durham punches it in for LSU to tie this game. And this was when, Zach, the tide really began to turn for LSU. And I was so pleased. Here we go. I finally got my notes back. I was so pleased with that drive. It was such a big response and tone setter for the second half to come out, stop them from going up 2 possessions, miss field goal, turn around, drive the field, best drive of the night for LSU, punch it in for a touchdown, tie ball game. Okay. By the way, Aaron Burrell, still amazing. Aaron Burrell.
NCAA, they got to get it corrected, dude. Man. They got to get it corrected.
Dude, Aaron Burrell, zero problems. Okay, so you get the touchdown. Clemson gets the ball back, okay? And this is where the defense really starts to shine. And, dude, Mansour Delane shined. This was you had 2 plays. The second play, Patrick Payton comes off the edge, creates pressure, right? He gets in Cade Klubnik's face. Cade Klubnik has to rush, throw off his back foot. He sails it, and Mansour Delane is there. Perfect time, perfect place, makes the interception. And buddy, it feels like a huge momentum shift. Massive. You missed field goal, tie ball game, interception. It's like, okay, game on. Yeah. Game on. And you were ready, Zach. You threw the freaking haymaker. You had a 15-yard run to start off the drive with Caden Durham. And then a couple more plays. And then you had the big shot. You had a couple small runs after the big run from Caden Durham. But then you had the big shot to Berrien Brown. That was a catch. That was a touchdown. Okay? I understand that when you look at the letter of the rule that is currently written, they made the right call. The rule must be changed. It must be reinterpreted. It's got to be, Zach. And Brian Kelly again commented on this in his press conference because obviously they wanted to ask him, and he's spoken with SEC officials obviously about this play. And anyways, it just is, the rule is inconsistent. And here's why. You look at the touchdown with Caden Durham, He's a ball carrier. Ball carrier breaks the plane with the ball of the end zone. Play's over. Play is over. Touchdown. Right?
Yeah.
If you remember, Caden Durham falls, ball pops out. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He had possession of the ball, broke the plane. That's it. And we also know by rule, the ground cannot cause a fumble. So even if he had not broken the plane and he was just in the field of play, he's down by contact. Yep. Right? So to me, the rules are inconsistent and are unfair to a receiver. You have a receiver. I mean, there's no telling how fast Barian Brown is running. There's no telling how probably 21, 22 miles an hour down the sideline. He catches this ball, one-handed. Secures it, right? Yes, one-handed. Secures the ball, has possession in the field of play. So he catches the ball, establishes his possession with the ball in the field of play with his feet down, breaks the end zone plane.
Yep.
But then falls 5-6 yards into the back of the end zone, tumbles around. The ball bobbled a little bit when he hit the ground. And so it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it's crazy that landing on the ground would make a ball bobble a little bit. It's just nuts.
The inconsistency of the rule. So to me, when he catches the ball, Zach, and has possession of it, to me, he's become a ball carrier. Therefore, in my opinion, when he breaks the plane of the end zone, to be consistent, it should not matter what happens tumbling down into the media photographers behind the freaking goal line, like behind the end zone. That is whack.
Yeah.
What matters should be
it's a bad call. It's a bad rule. It's a bad call.
It is a bad rule. It needs to be reinterpreted. What matters should be is what happens in the field of play. The player had possession in the field of play, had possession of the ball when it broke the plane. Touchdown. Whatever happens after that, who cares? Just like with the runner of the ball. Just like it. This whole complete the action of the catch. He had completed the action of the catch, but he's thrown by his momentum into literally a crowd of media in the end zone, but he bobbled the ball, so it's an incomplete pass. That is not an incomplete pass. That is hitting the ground and causing the ball to bobble when he's out of bounds.
Which he never dropped. He maintained possession.
He never dropped the ball. He bobbled it, right? He never dropped the ball. But also the rule with the ball carrier, is the ground cannot cause a fumble. Okay, then why does the ground have to cause an incomplete pass? Way out the back of the end zone, right? I get it if like he falls, hits the ground, and the ball flies out, and it's not in his hands anymore.
Yeah,
it stayed in his cradle the entire time. The rule needs to be reinterpreted. Anyways, that was a haymaker, Zach. You had a missed field goal, touchdown, interception, bomb to the end zone. It was a haymaker.
Should be touchdown.
It should have been 17-10, and it should have been an absolute haymaker. Instead, we're all stunned. It's called incomplete after review. It's 3rd and 11, incomplete pass. Ramos cramps on his plant foot and shanks the field goal, and immediately you're thinking, crap. That just went from an absolute punch to the nose to like a complete momentum shift for Clemson.
Yep.
But your defense, Zach, your defense comes out.
3 and out.
Your defense puts up a 3 and out.
And then you go to the fourth quarter. Yep.
It was stellar. That is absolutely amazing. To go 3 and out after that moment shows you the difference of this defense. That was amazing. You go to the fourth quarter, you have the final touchdown drive for LSU. Caden Durham, 8-yard run, 3-yard run. Xavier Thomas, -1 yard. Okay, I know this is kind of a bad time to point this out, but the -1 yard run by Xavier Thomas remind me of it. I loved the creative runs with Xavier Thomas.
Yeah, really.
Like when they sent him in motion and he came behind Garrett Nussmeier They snapped the ball and he ran back for a counter.
Yeah.
Love it. That play design was awesome.
It worked for you.
Then you began to see Trades really affect the game. His size began to affect the game. It was an incomplete pass, but his size draws a PI penalty, 15-yard penalty. You had a penalty on LSU. A short pass to Barry Brown. Big pass. This was the big one to Aaron Anderson, 28 yards. You began to kind of work your way down. Trades Green, another catch. You're working your way down to the end zone. You get in the red zone. They run quads to the side. They single out and isolate Trades Green, throw the ball, head tap on another Terrell brother. Zach, the Terrell brothers will have nightmares of LSU receivers scoring touchdowns on them. The Terrell brothers are forever haunted by LSU receivers. Okay. Guess what, Zach? After that touchdown, turnover on downs. Your defense holds Clemson, turnover on downs.
And I'll say this, Reagan, real quick before you move on.
Yes.
Think about that sequence, Reagan, if you had got that touchdown. Think about that sequence. Missed field goal, touchdown, interception. Let's just say they call it correctly. Touchdown, 3 and out, touchdown.
Yep.
That would have been 3 straight drives. It honestly was. Let's just be frank. It was 3 straight drives that you scored touchdown. Unfortunately, the officials are bad at their jobs, and they only gave you 2 of those touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you scored 3 straight touchdowns to start the second half.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And to counter that, Clemson's second half, missed field goal, interception, punt. LSU takes the lead 17-10, turnover on downs. This is where I was a bit frustrated with the offense, Zach, we were talking about earlier. I wish they would have been more aggressive. Okay. If you put more points on the board, you almost guarantee yourself a win. Okay. I understand you wanted to chew clock. I understand that. I trust the defense a little bit more now, so I'm okay with it a little bit better. But in the moment, my anxiety of a fourth quarter USC comeback was flaring up, and I was going, dear God, they're just playing conservative, and they're about to give this ball back to Clemson, and they're going to tie this freaking game, and we're going to have to go to overtime. That's what I was thinking. But this defense is
It got close. It did get close. I'll say that.
It did. And so that's why I was a bit frustrated. I wanted them to be a little bit more aggressive, but I get it. They chewed up 4.5 minutes of clock.
And to be fair, what set that up, Reagan, honestly, that gave Clemson that field position was a holding call.
Yeah.
Because
on the punt.
Correct, because whenever LSU got the ball, there's on their last drive, Xavier Thomas took it to past midfield.
Yeah.
And a holding call is what ended up backing you way up, 30 yards back from where you had it, and gave Clemson because, I mean, if you're going conservative, let's think of it this way. If you're going conservative and you don't have that holding call, because that's on LSU. That's on the special teams unit to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do and not drawing penalties, right? Because I mean, you think about if it goes the exact same way, you're punting it from the 50, right? Yeah. I mean, you're pinning them deep, right? You're making them go 80, 90, 75 yards to go score instead of going, 40, 50, right?
Right. But their second half, Zach, missed field goal, interception, punt. You go up 17-10, turnover on downs. LSU plays conservative, chews a lot of clock. Guess what? Your defense delivers. Punt. Again, you play conservative. You chew more clock. You punt the ball back to them. And this was the final series. You're putting your trust in this defense. This defense delivered time and time again, Zach, in the second half. They were fantastic. And
it started out rough, though.
Yeah, I mean, the
19-yard pass, 17-yard pass.
It was big pass, but they gritted their teeth, man. Short yard pass, incompletion to Brian Wesco, and it all came down to that fourth down play, 4th and 4, with less than a minute left. And They're close to the red zone. They may have been in the red zone. I can't quite remember. Yes, they were 3 yards.
They were in the red zone.
They were. So they were within shooting distance of the end zone easily. And 4th and 4 comes up. And Zach, again, the selflessness of this team, of this defense, the aggressiveness of this defense, to their credit, the defensive end, I'm drawing a blank on who it was. They ran the little inside slant move to take the tackle out so that Harold Perkins could complete the wraparound. Just like Pyburn took the upfield cut to open up the lane for P.J. Woodland, the defensive end cuts and slants in towards the center so that it takes the tackle out of the play to allow Harold Perkins to swing around, to cause Cade Klubnik to have to roll. Harold Perkins is very fast, stays in the face of Klubnik all the way to the throw. And guess who was there in coverage? Mansour Delane was locking him down. You had pressure from Perkins. You had lockdown from Delane. And guess what? The ball falls well short of anybody, and the game was over. You were able to kneel in victory formation in the fake Death Valley, and it was fantastic. And, Zach, this defense, the story of the day was the defense. The defense is leaps and bounds ahead of where it was. There was aggressiveness. There was tenacity. There was
assignment sound.
Yes, gap sound. I mean, we talk about how gashed we got last year because of missed lanes, missed fits, missed assignments, and quarterbacks with running fits were gashing you. I mean, obviously, Jalen Milrow. Why am I drawing a blank? Lenore Sellers. There's one more. I'm drawing a blank on. Oh, Marcel Reed in Texas.
Yeah, Marcel Reed.
Gashing you. Cade Klubnik is a running quarterback. He's not. He's obviously a dual threat quarterback. He has a problem with his wheels. You limited him, Zach. Zach, the freaking Clemson offense finished the game with 31 rushing yards total.
Yeah.
You were dominant defensively, especially in the second half. They scored points in the first half because you kind of gifted it with them with a fumble, right? But your defense still stood tall and only allowed a field goal. The touchdown drive that they had, obviously, we thought was a little bit of help. They got a little bit of help. And still, it took them to fourth goal, and your defense dang near stonewalled them.
Yep.
Your defense is 1,000% better. And, Zach, this could have been the biggest test that they have faced all stinking year. It could be. And this defense is awesome. They deserve all the flowers. They deserve all the recognition. It was amazing, Zach. I am thrilled. I was stunned by the defense. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be that good. It was really freaking good, Zach. And the outlook of this season with this defense is very promising. Garrett Nussmeier, Zach, last year, this would have been his lowest passing yards of the season, and you won on the road against a top 5 team in their stadium. Game 1. Why? Because you were able to run the ball better. Credit to the offensive line. It wasn't perfect, but guess what? This might be the best defensive front you face all year, and you were still able to break through for 120 yards. What could you do against other defensive fronts?
Yeah.
So credit to the offensive line as well. Those are the big takeaways for me. And I think what we saw from the receivers was just scratching the surface. I think it was just scratching the surface.
I would agree.
You won this game, Zach, because of your offensive line. The question was, everybody thought, how in the world is LSU's offensive line going to hold up against this incredible defensive front that Clemson has? Did pretty dang good. You know what the problem was? It was LSU's defensive front because they were on freaking Cade Klubnik all stinking night. 50% of his dropbacks, he was pressured, Zach.
That's crazy.
50.
Man. That's crazy.
That is the kind of defense Blake Baker likes to play. It's wreak havoc, cause problems, and they did it all stinking night long. You just love to see it, Zach. It was. He
was only at 50% completion percentage.
Exactly. Your secondary was great. Mansour Delane is amazing. P.J. Woodland was a coming out party for P.J. Woodland. Zach, DJ Pickett was freaking good.
Yeah.
DJ Pickett was good. He was in limited action. I think he took like 20-something snaps. No receptions. No receptions allowed.
Yep.
He was fantastic. Your safeties were fantastic. Safety play was awesome.
It was overall just a phenomenal performance.
So proud.
And so thankful that LSU was able to come out with a win. Garrett Nussmeier awarded Offensive Player of the Week for his performance. Didn't have a huge night, but 232 yards, touchdown. Should have been 2 touchdowns.
Plus 30 more yards. So 262 touchdowns?
262 touchdowns. What it really should have been at.
And if you, Zach, let's say you kick the field goal, and let's say you give you that touchdown, you win this game 27-10. You dominated.
And if you take away the turnover that you had and the drive that was aided, it's 27-0.
Right.
I don't know if I'll allow the 10. I don't want to be that stingy, but
27-10.
27-10.
You dominated them. That 27-10 is very realistic. Because Brian Kelly made the decision to go for it on 4th and 2. Could have easily taken the chip shot.
Yep.
That's 3. I think everybody in the country other than Clemson fans think that Barian Brown was a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, realistically, 27-10. Realistically.
Yep.
I mean, just
Caden Durham had a good night. He rushed for 74 yards. He did have that one that was 15, 20 yards that got taken away from the illegal motion. So, I mean, he would have been, pushing close to 100 if he had had that run back, which was I thought that was kind of a lame call too. I get it, but they, as you said when you were here, they did the exact same thing the very next play and didn't call it. So
it's because Barian Brown got a little ahead of himself and moved towards the line of scrimmage. So, I understand the call. It is a legal motion.
As we said, Aaron Anderson, he's wide receiver number 1. He's going to be your workhorse. 99 yards. Couldn't manage. Needed that one more yard. 6 receptions, averaged 16.5 per reception. 39 was his long. He's going to be phenomenal for this year, and just so many different things. They used Jawan Johnson, Xavier Thomas, in so many different ways. I thought Barra Sharp outside of the fumble,
dude, he looked good.
I mean, he looked good, right? He had a little tip pass, right, that he caught,
and Zach, after the fumble, got up and made the tackle.
Yeah. Chris Hilton. Chris Hilton, we'll talk about that. We need to hurry up and take a break. We're already an hour in. We haven't even hit
reasonable. It's reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable. So let's go ahead. Let's knock out a quick break. Y'all throw your comments in here. Y'all slacking on the comments tonight. LSU just beat Clemson week 1. Let's go. We're going to a dead gum playoff, and y'all slacking on the comments. We'll get to your comments here right after this.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Stop by to try Fulton's newest drive-through coffee shop, The Well Coffee Co. for all of your coffee needs. Iced, hot, blended, however you like your coffee, we got it. You don't like coffee? Try one of our Red Bull infusions. Maybe you want something else? Try a smoothie of different flavors as well. We'd love to see you at The Well Coffee Co. Monday through Friday right now, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Well Coffee Co., John 4:14.
Right back at it here in the Tigers Avenue show. Zach, a couple comments in here. Tyler's in here. What's up, Tyler? Good to see you in here. Kevin Kastner, I think it's his first time in here. I don't know if I've ever seen him.
Glad to have you in here, Kevin.
It wasn't playing conservative at all. We had playing aggressive. Got to give Clemson credit too. Maybe that was from earlier. We were talking about. Kevin, we were talking specifically about the last 2 LSU offensive drives.
Really the last drive, because I mean, even in the second to last drive, they had some pretty decent.
They ran the screen play. The second to last was the screen, and it had success with Juwan Johnson.
It did have success,
but it was obvious that they were they were just trying to kill clock. But by all means, I think we were aggressive in every other facet of this game. I think we got conservative at the end to kill clock. My point was I was worried that you were giving Clemson an opportunity to go tie the game.
Yep.
And send it to overtime in their own stadium. If you went and put up more points, I was saying, man, you could put the game away. That was my point in that. So, anyways, if LSU played like 65 F grade per Dabo's grade, imagine how they look at 90 or above. Dude, I don't know what the heck Dabo was thinking saying that.
I don't know. I don't know either. That was rough.
And Brian Kelly barked back.
He did.
Barked back. I was like, okay. And Zach, I think Dabo and Brian Kelly obviously have great respect for each other. They always do. We fans kind of tend to kind of rile these things up a little bit more than probably we should. But I think this was a little bit of like, we know what you did with AJ Halsey. Because Dabo, did not make it a secret that he was the one to report it. He admitted that he was the one who reported it and probably has known it for quite some time, but waited till 3 days before the game.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
I think it was a little bit of a jab back at him because of that. And also, dude, you got shut out in the second half. And really, you probably should have been outscored 21-0 in the second half. It was 14-0, but it was 20. It should have been 21-0. And you grade LSU as a 65, but at Clemson 58. I
don't know about that.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, areas to improve, Zach. I've got a couple, Zach, and I'll hand it over to you. Areas to improve. Now, I want to preface this by saying some of this is probably game one, knocking some of the rust off. Also, you're in a very hostile environment.
Yeah.
Hostile environment, big stadium, big team, game one. So I'm going to come a little slack. But it's very, very frustrating, Zach, when you come out of a timeout and it feels like you don't have the offense organized the way it should be. That frustrated me at times. There was a couple of plays where they had to burn timeouts because they didn't have the offense lined up. There was some miscommunication. Yeah. Those are some things you're going to clean up. So that's an area to improve. You just pre-snap stuff. And when you come out of a timeout, man, I mean, you should be on your P's and Q's. It should be all together. That was one thing. I had another thing, but it just lost me. I really think I was saying this during the game, Zach. It felt like you had opportunities to run outside of the tackles. It felt like when you ran inside the tackles, you struggled.
Yeah.
So to me, that's another area of improvement. We need some more push. We need some more movement to be able to run in between the tackles.
I'd agree.
I felt like running outside, it was good. But we saw some of that last year. You were able to run outside the tackles some last year. It's in between the tackles. We got to be able to run the ball better.
One of the biggest things I would say, obviously, and maybe, again, this is just because first game, knocking some of the rust off, you got to limit the turnovers.
Sure.
You had two costly turnovers, right? One that gave Clemson points and another that didn't allow you to get any points, right? Even though, again, right, he wouldn't have made the first down, but you can't
negate any kind of opportunity for points.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to be able to hold on to the football, right? Garrett did a phenomenal job of not turning the football over this game. But there's going to come times later in games where you turn the ball over too many times, and there's going to be a team that takes advantage, right? Yeah. I think we have a lot of confidence in the defense to do what they need to do. And they held their ground despite the turnovers. But you can't give other teams opportunities. So you got to be able to clean that up, right? That's a big one. The other thing, Reagan, is I got to see more of LSU stretching the ball down the field. You got all these guys to do that, and I feel like we didn't see it that much. I understand, like we saw it a couple times. Like they tried to stretch the ball a little bit to trade as Green. Obviously you stretch the field with the Barron Brown pass. Outside of that, Reagan, that's really it. Like you didn't try to hit a big shot with Nick Anderson. You didn't try to hit a big shot with Chris Hilton. I mentioned that earlier. Like, why are you using Chris Hilton in the screen game when you have him to stretch the field? Like, let's see you use the guys that you have on your roster to do that very thing. Utilize them for that very purpose. Like, you can stretch the field with Nick Anderson. You can stretch the field with Chris Hilton. You can stretch the field with Barry and Brown. So I want to see more of that, right? And maybe that leads us into our final segment here. I know we've ran long, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Is getting into this Louisiana Tech preview. That's one of the things I want to see. I want to see LSU stretch the field. I think they're going to have opportunities to do that. I think Joe Sloan's going to be on revenge game mode this game, having been fired from Louisiana Tech. I think he is going to come out with some revenge and unleash Garrett Nussmeier this upcoming weekend versus Louisiana Tech. So let's see them stretch the field more. I want to see them stretch the field more. I want to see them take care of the football.
Yeah, and I think it's a good game to kind of solidify that. I don't know a whole lot about Louisiana Tech. I'll just be flat honest. I don't know a lot about Louisiana Tech. But the interesting thing is, your two non-conference group of 5 teams that you played each other in week 1, Louisiana Tech, Southeastern Louisiana. La Tech took care of business 24-0 against Southeastern. So, I mean, that's a little bit to go off of. I think you handled business pretty easily against La Tech opening game in Death Valley.
There's going to be a lot of hype around this game because of what happened last week. So I think the stadium's going to be pretty well packed there.
Oh, yeah. I think you'll have a great
especially there in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, it's opening night in Death Valley. It's going to be a great crowd. And obviously there's great excitement with this team. You're 1-0 and you just beat a top 5 team on the road. Yeah, there's going to be a great crowd.
You're now ranked number 3 in the country.
Yeah.
All
the fandom stuff's going to be really, really good. Brian in here, it's time. Hey, King Solomon.
It's time for 1-0 again.
It's time. Hey,
and you've seen that in their meeting room.
And Zach, Ryan was right. Caden Durham, first touchdown of the season. It was Ryan, right?
I think it was Ryan. Ryan can confirm that or deny that, but I'm pretty sure it was Ryan.
Sure it was Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. Durham, first
I think TT said it'd be Garrett Nussmeier on a scramble.
Yeah,
I think Ryan was right there. First touchdown of the season to Caden Durham there.
It's time. It's time. Wise words, King Solomon. There's a time for everything. It was time for LSU to go 1-0. It was
time for LSU to finally win that first game.
Here we are.
He said it was him.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out. Good job, Ryan. Proud of you. Proud of you, Ryan. Anyways, La Tech. Zach, the fandom around Death Valley is going to be great this weekend. All the things are going to be going on. There's going to be tailgates, and it's going to be a little bit more lax, right? You've pulled off the big win. Now it's like, okay, let's go home. Let's open Death Valley in this season the right way. It's going to be a good weekend, easy weekend. LSU will take care of business. I mean, one little cool thing of note, Colby Fields, former LSU Tiger, is probably the best player on La Tech's team, Defensive Player of the Year, Conference USA last year. So you'll get to see him. And look, it's always cool to get to play another Louisiana team in Tiger Stadium. It's, lots of Louisiana kids on teams like La Tech in Southeastern Louisiana grew up loving the Tigers. So it's always special. I always like these games. So I'm sure Tigers take care of business, see them take another step. Really, really interested to see kind of some of the rotations. I think LSU will put this to bed pretty early. So I'm kind of excited to see who's kind of the next guys they're liking to see. So not much to preview, but after a huge win like this, you turn around and play La Tech. It is what it is. But look, not to get ahead of ourselves, but you got a big one the next week too. I'm really looking forward to it. Take care of business though, Zach. I love the whole 1-0 thing.
You think LSU goes with the purple and yellow, or maybe
that's what I honestly thought about that. Ever since Brian Kelly's taken over, they've been quite a
little bit diverse in their uniform.
More diverse with the uniforms. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw something different.
Yeah.
If we're gonna see something different more often, stinking wear the purple helmets. Those are the coolest helmets that
the
LSU
purple, white
ever released.
Yeah.
Ever. Wear them.
Mm-hmm.
They are so cool. I mean,
I'm telling you, Reagan.
Brian Kelly's got one behind his desk. Obviously, he likes it. Put the freaking purple helmet on.
Yeah, I would love to see. I don't know if many of them, our listeners or our viewers, follow the Memphis Tigers, but I would love to see some kind of helmet that is similar to that, right? Like they've got it's like the chrome helmet with the blue tie, like it's like a tiger like stripes that are on the helmet, like across the helmet. I think that'd be legit. Like if you get like yellow helmet with some like purple stripes going across it, that'd be pretty sick. We've discussed that before. That would be. I think that'd be really cool. But I think LSU might do something a little bit different this weekend. We'll see.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Maybe it'd probably be like yellow, purple, yellow, or something like that.
Probably so. Ryan is right. This game isn't televised, but I don't have cable. I stream everything. So
yeah, we stream everything.
Stream everything. So, but no big deal. But for some folks, obviously that may stink. But I think LSU take care of business. I don't want to get too ahead. I don't want to be that guy where obviously LSU still wants to go 1-0. Brian Kelly's making that clear. Zach, they literally, the whole thing they've got in the meeting room with the whole.
That's what I was saying earlier. That's how they have
it
set up in their meeting room. Yeah,
I mean, they literally covered up the Clemson one. It's only latex. So I love the 1-0 mentality. Hey, it worked. It worked. So stick with it.
I guess so.
Hey, this is a great Tigers Avenue episode. Appreciate you guys being in here. The Tigers are 1-0. You have won a season opener, probably the biggest one of all of them in the last few years, and you pulled it off. I'm very, very proud of this team. I'm proud of Brian Kelly. I've been a Brian Kelly supporter. I know there's some that have not liked Brian Kelly. Part of the reason that I've been such a Brian Kelly supporter, because I'll be honest, at Notre Dame, I could have cared less about Brian Kelly. I could have given 2 cares, but the guy came here to do the one thing in his career that he has not done yet. He came here to win a national championship.
Yeah.
And part of me, as like a storyline, wants to see the Hall of Famer coach get the national championship. And I'd stinking love to see him do it with the LSU Tigers.
Be great.
And rub it in. And not because I want to rub it in Notre Dame's nose. For Brian Kelly's sake, he gets to rub it in their nose because they doubted him for so long. And when he left, they lauded it and they loved it. And I'm like, I want it to happen. So I'm proud for Brian Kelly because I want him. He's made it clear. He came here. This is his last stop. He stinking came here to do the thing he hadn't done, is win the national championship. I want it for him. And it's certainly a good start. We're not nowhere near the national championship, but you like your chances to make the playoffs here. It's you have a great chance this year. So I'd love to see.
You're now a top 5 favorite to as far as odds to win the national championship, and Garrett Nussmeier is now the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman.
But seriously, that's why I've been a Brian Kelly supporter. Like, he came here to win the national championship. That was his goal. I want to see him do it. I'd love to see him do it. So I'm proud for him and this team and this defense. Man, love it, love it, love it. Zach, it's a great show. LSU's 1-0. On to the next one. We're in for, I think, a pretty special season, Zach. You got some big games ahead, obviously. But this team's talented. You paid a lot of money, and hopefully it's paying off. It seems like it is so far. Mm-hmm. So, man, what a weekend. What a weekend. We haven't even talked about some of the things, Zach. Not only did LSU win, Alabama lost to Florida State 31-17, guys.
Yeah, got destroyed.
I mean, got destroyed by Florida State.
Speaking of Notre Dame, they lost too to Miami.
Notre Dame lost, and
Texas lost to Ohio.
lost, and I mean, what a weekend! Golly dog! I mean,
Yep.
wow, and we don't have the time to go into all that, but I just
Bill Belichick got completely humbled on Monday night.
What a dud to the end of a great weekend of football. That was.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to start off as like a banger. It looked like it was going to be another banger, and then it was just not.
After halftime, it was over. Right? I mean,
cooked.
It was a good game up until the third quarter. The start of the third quarter.
Yeah, rough last night. Bill Belichick. I almost said Brian Kelly. Bill Belichick got a little dose of college football last night. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, what are we? I mean, just as an LSU fan, this past weekend was amazing. Texas lost, Bama lost, Notre Dame lost, and LSU stinking won a top 5 matchup on the road. Great start to this. I mean, wow, what a great weekend! And guess what? We got so many more weeks to do it. This is why college football is amazing. We love it. Absolutely love it. So, and hey, more big matchups this weekend to obviously watch. Obviously, some teams played nobodies. Like I want to see Oregon play a good team. I want to see Georgia play a good team.
You got Oklahoma, Michigan this week.
Oklahoma, Michigan, for sure. So
Arkansas, Notre Dame kind of coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
That's the next. I think that's third week.
Correct.
Arkansas is playing Arkansas State this weekend.
Yes,
in Little Rock. So that's a big one for the state of Arkansas for sure. So, all right, guys. Hey, it's been a great one. LSU Tigers are 1-0. Finally, get the season opener under Brian Kelly. Hey, this defense is special. Garrett Nussmeier is now the betting Heisman favorite. It could be another special season, guys. It really could be. But we're going to follow it all here on the Tigers Avenue show. So we pray that we ask that you would just join in with us, man. Go on this ride, this journey with us this season. Subscribe, like. We'll be talking about it here every Tuesday night. So we appreciate your support as always. We'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue show. Bouncer here, take us out. Peace.